Hey everybody, can you hear me? Type in yes if you can hear me. Yes. Bronxinator. I gotta go on Patreon and tell them I'm going live. All right, we're gonna get to question and answer, but I want to talk to you guys a little bit about just a couple random things that are kind of exciting. I hope the video is okay. Like my picture of Prince? I think you've seen that before. Thanks. Hi, legend. Can you guys see the questions on your end? Or do I just see them? Oh, you can? Oh, that's good. I didn't know. I've never been on someone else's live, so I don't know. Okay. All right, guys, hold off on the questions. Just we got to talk. If you write it right now, I'm telling you I'm not going to see it. We're going to get to it, but I won't see it and I'll get distracted and I'll just answer random questions in the middle of what I'm talking about. So, I do want to tell you guys something exciting that I think is exciting, and you're my followers and my subscribers, and you're into it and whatnot. So we are probably, I'm guessing, I'm not guessing. I looked at the numbers. The number one dog training channel on YouTube. If you look at the number of views, obviously not subs. That takes time. I've only been doing this a couple of years, but some people have been doing it for 15 years. Views wise, I don't think there's anyone who has more views than our videos, and you're a part of that, so I appreciate that. You guys are watching them and whatnot, so anyway, I think that's pretty exciting. That's my state of the channel. Maybe I'll try to, every single live I do, I'll tell you the state, like the state of the union, but the state of the Beckman's channel, if you want me to do that. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple things. I'm just trying to get on Patreon here to tell them I'm live real quick while I do that. I can do two things at once. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. Here we go. Patreon. All right. Post real quick. Make a post. I'm live on YouTube. And that's it. Okay. Get it off airplane mode. So I'm going to first, I get this question a lot. And so I want to answer this. And with all my clients, I do this too. So a lot of you guys ask what kind of leash I use. I use a double ply nylon leash. I just like to be able to hold it. You get these, I have people come out with big dogs and they have a tiny leash like this, and the dog pulls and you'll get a rope burn. I'm just a big fan of bigger leashes that you can hold on to. People come out with leather leashes. I like the feel of leather leashes. The problem with leather leashes is they can snap. When they get old, they snap. They can snap right in half. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. But new leather leashes are good. But I use a double ply nylon 6-foot leash. Why 6 feet? Because you don't want to ever correct your dog when it's a foot in front of you. Really, you know my method. Dog is fully leaving you. You got to know they're leaving you. I will extend my arm 2 feet, 2-foot arm, 6-foot leash. Your dog is fully leaving. Okay, so you can give them stop and correct, or they correct themselves, or you can do a turn. They're leaving you. You know they're leaving you. If you have a short leash on their side, you can't correct them because they're like, "What do you want from me? I'm next to you." So you got to make sure they know that you're leaving them. All right, or that they're leaving you. Next is how to put on a gentle leader. Gentle leader comes in a package like this, or a head harness of any kind. I don't care if you buy a gentle leader or a Halti or any of the other products. Head halter. Okay. Haltis in many ways are better than gentle leaders. Okay. Comes in the package like this. Leather leashes are just for something. I don't know what that person said in the comments. Comes in the package like this. You pull it up through the center, over the nose, back around the head. It does not go on like this. It does not go on like this. and it does not go on like this. There's 4 ways to put this thing on. This is the only correct way. Okay, comes in the package like this, up through the middle, back around the head, attach the leash here. Okay, all right, makes sense? So all I want to say before we get to questions is how good the channel, how well the channel is doing. #1 channel on YouTube. I didn't do a comprehensive. I went through all the big channels, just glanced at the numbers, looked at my channel, and because of you guys, we are doing super well. I don't think anyone has the views that we have, so that's awesome. The Dave Chappelle of dog training, telling it like it is. I appreciate that. That's a awesome company to be in because that guy tells it like it is, and that's what you got to do in the world. Okay. Best channel on YouTube. When I grab my dog's collar, she mouths me. What should I do if she responds this way? Watch my bulldog. What videos? Maybe someone else can tell that guy, this commenter, when your dog mouths you, right? I grab a dog and they go to mouth me. The video. Oh my god, what video? I have so many videos. I used to do. I now do like 1 or 2 a week. I used to do like 5 a week. It's just it was really hard to maintain that pace. You grab the dog. I wish I had a collar or a dog. Prince isn't here. And you kind of hold them like this, and they go like this, and you can kind of move your arm into their head a little bit just to move them back. If they're a puppy, you can put, I call it the lip method. You put their lip in their mouth, and they go bite, and you go, hey, you should quit biting your lip. They can stop biting themselves anytime they want. They're trying to bite you. You move their lip in their mouth, they end up biting their lip. And I just go, hey, you should stop biting your lip. The dog's doing it. You know my method. I'm all about when the dog corrects itself. They're leaving you, they corrected themselves. They're biting your hand, you put their lip in, they're biting their lip. They can stop the correction anytime they want. That is my method. My methods, almost all of them they can stop the corrections anytime they want. Okay. So hopefully that helped. You can kind of grab and kind of move your hand into them until they stop, or you can do the lip method. All right, guys. So, all right, I'm going to go through these questions. I know it's mainly this whole deal is mainly like a Q&A. So I'm just going to try to get to some. We get the story about how I like this. I mean, we can get to the full on just questions, and I will, but like I like these to be also some insight into me, if that's something you guys are into. How did I get Prince? We got a call from the breeder. The breeder said, we had a dog returned to us. She said, I thought of you. The Prince was a little much for the lady's mom. The mom was pretty old. Okay. She said the breeder said the lady would only give him to the right family. Me, my 3 kids, my wife went to the breeder. The owner was there. We walked in, and Prince went right up to my daughter, who you guys have seen in the videos, right? She's 13. My 13-year-old daughter. She was whatever, 11 at the time. And the lady knew right away. And that was the story of how we got Prince. That's the story. There's not much more to it. I'll tell the story of how Bosco. I keep thinking about making a video about. You guys want to know? A lot of you want to know about how Bosco died. It's not. I mean, he died of cancer, but there is some interesting parts to that story for sure. Some issues I have with the vet place of supposedly the best vet in San Diego. This big place that like everyone talks about is the best. They're not. They weren't the best with my dog. That's for darn sure. And so I do want to share that story someday. I'm just not, because is it a full video in and of itself? I don't know. But I will share that maybe on the next live. Okay, my dog plays with the neighbor's dog. Oh, that's good. How old is Prince now? 3. Soon to be, yeah. Oh, Thanks, Carrie. Okay, I'm gonna just pick a question here. Okay. And if I like, I recognize a lot of people from my comments on my channel. So I'll try to get to the people who I know comment on the channel. That helps the algorithm, whatever. I'll get to whoever. But my 1-year-old lab is leash reactive, barking, growling while being totally friendly and non-vocal at the dog park. Yeah, it happens all the time. Leash reactivity and then being great off leash. It's frustration. Okay. That's to Irina. Um, Yeah, frustration. Um, you can, I mean, gentle leaders are good. There was one dog at the board and train like months ago. It was so leash reactive. And I found we used a longer leash. Like the dog had to have more room, like more room than a 6-foot leash and a 2-foot arm. It had to have more room. And so I used a longer leash and it gave the dog a little more freedom and it really, really helped that leash reactivity. I mean, leash reactivity is a complex thing. It just is. It's one of the like aggression, fear, separation anxiety, leash reactivity. Those are the big four. If you're a trainer and you can work it and get results with those four things, and separation anxiety isn't even, it's aggression, fear, and leash reactivity. Um, but it's complex. All right. Every dog's different. Um, okay. As an anti-terminator, she does not like people on bicycles. I don't know what an anti-terminator is. Question. I've got a 7-month-old Dobie. This is from Victor. And on walks, he occasionally completely loses focus with me and looking on other distractions. At what age should I expect him to stop or at least be old enough to correct? Yeah, I like that you're being patient. These young dogs, they're out of their minds. Okay. People get kids and they go, oh, my 2-year-old's going crazy. Well, it's because 2-year-olds go crazy. You say, eat this broccoli, and they fall on the ground and throw a complete fit. And you don't go, well, what's wrong with my kid? But then 7-month-old dog freaks out on a walk and we go, what's wrong with our dog? You do have to be patient with these young dogs. Okay. I'm not saying you don't stop and turn and try to redirect with a treat and you do all that. Okay. But they're going to have their moments and they're going to pull. You got to try to be patient because their brain is somewhere else. I think at like 9 months, you can start to amp up like a little bit of stop and give a little correction, or they're leaving you, give a little correction. Again, it's stop and correct. You're stopping. They're the ones correcting themselves. 9 months, then at a year, I'm kind of like, listen, you're a big boy now. You're a big girl now. It's time to act like an adult a little bit because they are. At a year, it's you don't come to me, we're coming to get you. There's no freaking out on a walk, no correction, good boy, treat, whatever. But at around a year, I think things change. Okay. Kids, dogs under a year, well, kids under a certain age, you're like, listen, we're not going to get too hardcore with this competitive sport. Have fun, do your thing. But there's a point where things get serious and it's time to go work and you got to practice. And my kids surf and the water's cold, but you got to go out because you want to be the best, all that. Okay. But there's an age thing to that. Can't ruin the puppy. That's one thing I do with my dogs, I think really well. Why my dogs are who they are is like we let them be puppies. We let kids be kids. Okay. Don't get too hardcore early on. Okay. So your dog's 7-month-old, Victor, just, stay patient. Okay. All right. Any dog fat kids don't run. I think I've seen that guy on my comments. So Joel, any dogs you weren't able to assist? Yeah, of course. There's no dog trainer in the world who, or at least who has a lot of clients who has a dog. There's dogs with full on mental illness, autism. That's a thing. So yes, the answer is of course yes, yes. I mean, you see the videos. Dogs leave better. Some dogs leave darn near perfect. Some dogs leave my property a little better, or the board and train they're way better. Some are a little better. It varies on some dogs. I've done sessions where they leave no better, and I've looked at the person and gone, listen, and I'm honest with them if their dog's mentally ill or I did something wrong or whatever, and I just go, listen, we just didn't hit the mark today. Here's what you need to do. I mean, there's so many situations that they're all so different. I think mental illness in dogs is at the exact same rate as human mental illness. I don't know if that's coincidence. Think about anxiety in dogs. You know what the anxiety in people right now, the percentage is so high in, and let's just talk about this country and Europe, okay? Um, Anxiety in dogs is, I don't know, 50%, 40%. People, I'd say it's about the same. Autism might be a little different where it's pretty big in people and smaller in dogs. What about ADHD, right? That's probably maybe a little more in people than dogs, but it's pretty close. Mental illness is pretty close. I've diagnosed, oh, you're not a behaviorist, you shouldn't diagnose. Behaviorists and vets, what, a vet should diagnose it? You want your vet to diagnose a behavior problem? You're going to the wrong person because they got a couple hours in one of their classes on behavioral issues. I've trained 10,000 dogs. I don't know. It's an insane number of dogs over weeks. Had them in classes over 6 weeks, done a board and seen them every day, multiple times a day for hours and hours. That's how you get good at diagnosing mental illness. Dog numbers. All right, so I go off on tangents, as you guys can tell, but I don't want this just to be answering every single question I see. Hopefully this is like a get to know me get to know you kind of thing. What would you recommend for protective, fearful aggression within the home? Sorry, spooky, scary cow. That's the person's name, spooky, scary cow. I need to know if it's to people, your own family, or people coming over. What would you recommend for protective, fearful aggression within the home? I assume you mean people coming over to your house. Listen, you want the easy answer? I'll give you the easy answer because the other one's going to take, I could talk for an hour on just that. Okay, with all the different treats from the scary stimulus, right? That's part of it. Accept the person. You hug the human being to let the dog know that you've accepted them into your home. I could get into all that. Here's an easy answer that people don't do. What they do is they take their dog out of the room or in the backyard. The dog's going to get no better. But you can't have the dog biting the person or jumping meanly on the person at the door either. So you take an eye bolt, you put it in the wall, you attach a carabiner to it, you put a bed there if your dog wants a bed, you attach them there so they can't go up to the person. They're over in the corner. They're still in the room to desensitize to the nuttiness of the doorway, which is nutty when someone comes over, especially nowadays. Everyone goes, oh my God, so-and-so's here. And everyone gets up and the dog learns it's a big crazy thing. You put the dog over there and you accept the person. Maybe the person tosses treats, but the dog's over in the corner. Everyone gets into this. Like, nobody who's ever come out and I've told them that have said, oh yeah, we do that. Nobody. The dog's either loose or it's up in a room or in the backyard. Well, guess what's the middle of the road? Dog's in the room, but he can't be on the person. I love it. Are we cheating? No, we're not cheating. You can still do all the training, but the dog isn't attacking anybody. And the dog isn't out in the backyard where it's basically thinking how it wants to attack the person, but it's not. And then you can hug the person. Hey, person, can you toss my dog some treats? Dog's still a jerk to that person. After you've accepted the person in your home, now if it's fearful, that's a little different. But if you accept the person's tossed treats and dog's like, I want to kill that person, we're over it. Hey, and you go grab the dog, sit them down, they can feel your strength in your arm, and the dog goes, oh my God, okay, dude, okay, lady. Not the person doesn't do that, you do that. You run that house. You run your home. Dogs, they can't attack people coming in your home. They can't. You guys have to get there. You have to get to that attitude. That's why on these videos, and I said it, I think in my last video, maybe the video before that, that's why I'm always like on these videos, I sound so hardcore. I talk to you guys as my YouTube people the exact way I talk to clients. Exactly. Over the years, I've learned this is the way to talk to clients. And so it's like, I got to be like, we're over it. So you guys are like, we're over it. Okay. That's why. That makes sense. Spooky, scary cow. That makes sense. The person responded, he's a family member's dog that I'm working with soon. He's accepted treats. Okay. Ever trained a wolf dog? I know I did that wolf dog thing on my last video. That was just because the dog looked like a wolf. It wasn't a wolf. Yes. I had one in a class at Cahoots in La Mesa. I've had, I had a, I think I've had another one. Wolf dogs are great. Wolves are great. I've worked with actual wolves. And if you guys don't know my past, just ask for it. It's so funny. Like the positive reinforcement folks, they think I don't know about positive reinforcement, which is the greatest thing ever. They're like, they think because I don't exclusively use positive reinforcement or force-free methods that I'm like the other trainers and I don't understand positive reinforcement. I understand positive reinforcement and the whole deal better than the leaders of their community. And I'm not bragging, better than the people who talk at their conferences. I've gone to the Harvard of positive reinforcement. I sat in class and then went out and did it with wild animals. And then I went to SeaWorld and I was a killer whale trainer. You might hate SeaWorld. That doesn't matter as far as the learning that happens there. My life depended on me understanding positive reinforcement. So hate SeaWorld, it's fine. I don't care. But like that's still my history. And it's the Harvard of animal training. It doesn't get any top than that. You'll die if you mess up. You will die. Okay. Turn your super chat on noobs. I don't know what that means. NOOBS? Super chat on noobs. Will you tell me what that means, please? And I'll try to see your comment. Thank you for your videos with a range of dogs and behaviors. Great insight. Ever had a problem with the gentle leader rubbing the snout? All the time. All the time. They're horrible for that. These are horrible for that. That's why the Halti, I actually said at the beginning of this live, the Halti's better in many ways than the gentle leader. Yeah, rubs their snout sometimes. And it's because they're pulling all the time and like hating it. It's horrible for that. Yeah, if the dog does that, I go, we're not using this. I don't have to use this. It just helps. I don't use this most of the time. I don't have to have a Prince. I didn't have a helper dog for 2 years. I used the dogs in my facility as helper dogs. I've done a whole video on how you don't need any tools. You don't need an e-collar. You don't need a prong collar. You don't need a helper dog. You don't need a gentle leader. You don't need any of that. They just help. I don't need it. It helps. Okay. So hopefully this is interesting to you guys. It's interesting to me because I haven't done this in a long time. What do I think of boxer breeds? They're great. They're kind of like Dobermans, German breed, jumpy, high energy. They're a little nutty. Boxers can be. I think the breeding's gotten better, but like some of them, like they are probably top tier of like they're kind of out of their minds a little bit. Like the crazy ones are freaking crazy. The boxers, like when they get the few individuals that are crazy. If you took, 10 boxers, there's 2 of them that are out of their minds. They're really out of their minds when they're crazy. But yeah, they're great. I'd get a boxer. Great training puppy during the day. This is Crazy Gamer asked. You do the most reinforcing, long-lasting thing in the world in the crate. Marrowbones, food for frozen Kongs, Costco bully sticks or Cahoots bully sticks. Cahoots is a pet store that I do talks at in Southern California. And then you put them in there. They're chewing on their thing. Chew, 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 chew. Then you let them out. Then you progressively go longer and longer and longer. Now, they're puppies, so they're out of their minds. So they might freak out no matter what. You have to decide whether they're freaking out and you keep them in there, or they're freaking out and they're going to hurt themselves, so you got to let them out, or they're freaking out because they got to go potty and you got to let them out. It's a hard line to figure out, but you do have to give them something really good in the crate. It's not fair to just be in the crate and don't have something good. Okay, you got to give them something good. What tool should I use if my dog is too small to safely use a gentle leader collar? I have a leash reactive Pomeranian mix. Or about potential trachea collapse, neck injuries. Yeah, be soft. I mean, you can give, like, you can stop, and the dog, like, kinda hits you on the leash, and they'll be fine, you know? Just don't give a correction. Tell us a funny story about Prince. Funny story about Prince. Oh my gosh, let me think. Let me think. Um, you guys see Prince start to launch into the it was in one of the videos. I was gonna make it a short because you guys commented about it. We put a barrier up with the neighbors, and Prince just started launching himself over the fence, and you couldn't see him running in the bushes. Then he would launch back out. That's when he kneed that dog in the head, that crazy little dog who is at our facility for a board and train, by the way. Um, the thumbnail's craziest session I've ever had. It wasn't probably the craziest, but it was top five. So I'm not going to put top five in the thumbnail of the video. But he jumps into there and then he jumps out, and I was just like, "What is this guy doing?" Um, Prince. It's. I'm thinking of so many things during this thing. It's hard for me to really um, nail down on a story. What happens during training when my dog responds inappropriately? I don't know what that means, inappropriately. I know what that word means. I don't know what that would be. Or dog bite you've ever received. Golden retriever. I've done a whole video on this. Can you see that scar? It's small. It bit me right here and I pulled away. Luckily, if I didn't, he got me, but I got it out right in time where he didn't sink in. He attacked me for no reason. Okay. He was a rescue. And then I went down and I asked the guy, I cleaned it up, and I asked the guy, did the dog show any remorse afterwards? And he goes, no. There's a long story with that dog, and it was many years ago. But that's the worst bite I've ever had. There was a session like 8 months ago. I didn't have a filmer, and the dog just turned. He like went at Prince. I stopped, gave him a little correction, and he turned. He's like, "You're not doing that to me," and he attacked me on a muzzle. Wasn't even listen. If you're on a prong or e-collar or on like pop, giving like hard corrections or anyone, like I get it. But when the dog's just like not having it, like that's not okay. Okay. Let's see here. Good. We got a lot of people in here. Thailand, so many questions. I know there's so many questions. How do you deal with a stopper on walks? Oh my god, I get this so much. I got to make a video about it. Yeah, dogs who stop on walks. I don't know if in at least the recent years I've ever had a dog stop with me on walks. And that's telling. Whenever I go, I've never had that, but you guys are always, or my clients are always like, this happens. I got to think, why have I never had that happen? Why does that not happen? Okay. I do this, it's hard to explain, but I do this thing where I'm like, come on. And I'll even offer a treat. I'm like, let's do this. Let's do this. Young dogs do this a lot. Okay. But if your dog's not young, it's a little different, right? You know that about me. So I go, come on. And then dog's like, no. I apply pressure, not a correction. I just apply pressure. And then right when the dog gives in, I release the pressure. So it's like the gentle leader. When they stop fighting it, when they give up the fight, you give up the fight. It's operant conditioning, right? It's positive punishment, negative reinforcement happening right after each other. Okay. Positive in that whole thing does not mean good, by the way. Positive means to add and to take away. Okay. Okay. So positive punishment when they're being pulled, negative reinforcement when you let the leash loose, and then you give them a treat. Then they stop, you slightly pull so they kind of come, and then they will give up at a time. Some don't. Some are just like, and you don't want to just pull your dog on the whatever surface you're on. But that will work for most dogs. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. You got a drink here. All right. Is it possible to I'm going to read this one. Is it possible to male, not neuter, have a normal life with other dogs? To a male, is it possible to a male, not neutered, have a normal life with other dogs that are neutered? How to deal with the instinct of dominance in female mates? Yeah, Prince has a normal life. Prince isn't neutered. Yeah, like I don't know. Yes, of course it's possible. Females get involved. Prince has never been mean to a neutered or unneutered dog because of a female around. And Prince isn't my only. I mean, I have unneutered dogs at my facility right now. Yeah, it's possible. All this is possible. Everything's possible. Everything is possible with dogs, unless your dog has a mental illness. Then it's like kids. You got a kid, he's got ADHD, he's got autism. Those are the cards you were dealt. Okay? I tell that to my clients all the time. I go, your dog has a problem. Those are the cards you're dealt. So now you got to deal with it. Are we going to get your dog perfect? No. He's got full on OCD. He's got full on ADHD. Those are the cards you were dealt. Okay. Competition between dogs. How do I stop it? There's one boss in the mix. There's no competition between dogs. I know I'm being blunt. There's no competition. You're the boss of everything. Okay. I know that's easier said than done. There's competition between my kids for whatever reason. We never wanted them to compete with each other at everything. They just do. It's hard to get rid of, but you run the show. Okay. Okay. Do I miss working at SeaWorld? No. It was good. It was good. I am who I am today, and we have the biggest channel on YouTube in part because of that experience and my what I learned there about social animals. And very few dog trainers in the world had that. So that's why when you guys see the channel, you see something a little different there from other dog trainers. It's in part because of SeaWorld and what I learned there. How do you start with walking a dog off leash? You start by walking them on leash. And then once they are never on a tight leash, you start to take the leash off. I don't know how else to say it simplistically besides saying what I just said. If your dog is pulling on the leash, you can't take the leash off. My method is an off-leash method. The stop and correct or the turn and correct. The leash is tight for thousandths of a second, and you turn and they follow. Then you walk into them. You can pop that leash off with my method very quickly. Oh, turn your YouTube feature on called Super Chat, and the person called me a noob. Yeah, Super Chat. I don't see a button for Super Chat. I'll look into it. Okay. Do you have any advice for dogs who counter surf? Eat your food? Yes, counter surfing. Dude, counter surfing is tough. So we'll get into so I told you how I understand positive reinforcement, operant conditioning, and classical conditioning as good as Karen Pryor, Ken Ramirez, or Emily Laurelham, or any of the experts in that community. So one of the concepts this comes into play is variable reinforcement. So if a behavior is on a variable reinforcement schedule, or it gets variably reinforced, the behavior is actually strengthened than if it was on a one-to-one schedule of reinforcement. So if every time your dog does a sit, you give them a treat, you should get away from giving them the treat every time, and your sit will become stronger. That makes sense? I can go into other details that you would understand, but for the simplicity. So the problem with counter surfing is they occasionally get something, okay? Maybe a steak, a loaf of bread. And so it's on a variable reinforcement schedule, and it's jackpotted. So it's something big oftentimes. So the behavior will actually strengthen because they only get something occasionally. All right, does that make sense? So you've seen my office, right? The dog jumps up on the counter. I make a noise, shakana. You can say off, doesn't matter. Wow, hey. Then you go grab them, even if they get off. Who cares if they get off? The punishment, in operant terms, punishment is not the clap or the off. The punishment is the grab. The off or the thing is just a shocker for them to go, oh, and then the guy's coming to grab me and the guy grabs me. The dog goes, I'm not going up there again. This freaking guy is serious. And then you go do it again. And you jump up there again. Go off, go grab him. And then eventually the dog goes, I'm not getting up there. You don't do anything, dog. You grab him like you've seen me grab. My last video, there were 3 grabs in the video. Okay, if you watched that video. And they're for the 3 very different things. One was humping, one the dog was just too much. And each time I grabbed him and I looked at him. And you should have watched that video that I just posted. It's how I grab him by the collar, then I look at him. And every time I did it for those 3 grabs, maybe 4 grabs, the dogs did not do that behavior again. They're like, okay, I get it, dude. I'll go do something else. There it is, guys. This thing isn't rocket science, okay? I realize I've been doing a long time and been doing it with a lot of dogs, but you can get what you need to get, I believe, from my channel. All right? And there's other channels. There's other very good channels, okay? But if you read between the lines of my channel, and I don't have to explain everything in a video, you can be good at this thing. You can have a great dog. You know what a great dog in this society is worth, or like not worth, but like, dude, you're rarefied air if you can have a great dog. Because there's very few of them out there. Not very few. There's a lot of unruly dogs. We'll say that. How about that? You make me a great dog owner. Oh, thank you. Prince's guarding skills. Ooh, I like Prince questions. Prince guarding skills 1 to 10. This is from, okay, LS Dome. Prince's guarding skills. Ooh. I don't know. He's never been in the situation. Oh, he kind of nipped my wife. My wife like yelled at my daughter. Not bad, but like we're parents, whatever. And Prince like barked at her. And then we tried to recreate it just for fun. And he didn't do it again. But yeah, I mean, I don't. So I'll go like, Prince. I'll go, Prince. What is that, Prince? And he's like, perks up. Dobermans do that. Dobermans are good like that. He perks up. He's like, what are we doing? It's pretty cool. I'd say it's a 5 guarding skills. What other type of animals have you worked with? Most of them. Monkeys, mountain lions, lion. A lot of them. A lot of them. We could talk about animals all day. You got any animal questions? I'd love to talk about wild animals, but I know you guys have. That's my thing. Exotics. I wanted to work with Africa, do conservation work with big cats. Big cats are my animal, lions and stuff. I love dogs, but I would say big cats are what I originally went to school for. Okay. Can we please get a whale story? Funny time, scary. I told this in a video a long time ago. I have a lot of whale stories. I was working at SeaWorld. I'll tell it very quick. I think it's a hilarious story. I can't believe I didn't get fired, to be honest with you. I didn't even get written up, which was crazy. I was like, I'm in trouble. There's this area called Dine-Mishamu where all the people eat. Now it's got glass and whatnot because the trainer died in Orlando. So now the whole area is walled off. But it didn't used to be like that. They'd eat like 5 feet from the whales. People eating here, pool here. I'm the trainer walking around. The whales in Orlando were trained a little differently, okay, than the whales in San Diego. And I worked in Orlando SeaWorld and San Diego. So I called the whale over. He was doing a fluke wave where his tail comes out and it waves at the audience. Well, I called the whale over with a buoy thing. Well, the whales in San Diego have been trained differently than Orlando. So I call the whale over. The whale comes over. He thinks I'm asking him because I hit the buoy in the water hard. So he thinks, because they're so smart, oh, he wants me to come over with my tail and hit it hard. So he comes over and I see his tail coming and I go, he's not doing a fluke wave. And he comes over like this. And I thought about slapping the water, but I could have died. I could have stopped it, but I could have been hit. So he's coming over and then he tail flukes the big male who launches water 15 rows up. And these people are 4 feet away. And he annihilates the whole restaurant, outdoor restaurant. I remember lights were swinging and people are running like they were going to die. They're drenched. The water's freezing and they're running away like they're gonna die. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like unbelievable. And my boss was just like, yeah, dude, that sucked. We gave more refunds. And they just like walked away. It was crazy. It was crazy. Um, so anyway, I hope you like that story. Um, we need more shorts about Prince. Yeah. You want the shorts to be about Prince? All right. I can do that. That's easy. I should do more shorts. What is my day routine? I got employees, I got kids, I got videos, I got dog training sessions, I got board and trains to train. It's busy. I don't. I wish I should have more of a routine, but I don't. Every day is different. So I can't really tell you the routine. Um, yeah, Prince question: does Prince know hand commands? Yes, yes. That's yeah. I mean, most of my commands are hand signals, as I call them. SeaWorld is also one reason I'm probably big on hand signals and not verbals. But I think they're just better than verbal commands. Um, my 3-year-old is having aggression issues. He attacked my puppy and killed my cat that he's been with his whole life. I'm saving for your boarding. Can you help if I pay for one-on-one phone chat? I think there's more to that question. Let me see. You should do a phone chat. Yeah. BeckmansDogTraining.com. Sign up for the phone session. We will get into it. I will tell you whether board and trainer help. I'll tell you what you should do next. I need more information. You'll fill out a form. I'll get all the information. You should do that. It's the most inexpensive thing, that phone call. You should definitely do that. And speaking of BeckmansDogTraining.com, that's the website. That's how you sign up for things. Also follow me on Instagram. I don't talk about that stuff much. So dog training in Virginia. No. One of my former employees who was with me for a long time opened a facility in the Twin Cities. But he's doing a lot of boarding. He's doing training too. But if you're in the Twin Cities, I guess you could email me. I got to talk to him to make sure he wants. If I really told people to go there from Minnesota and the surrounding area, I think he'd get a lot of. I don't know if he wants that many people contacting him. And I know a good trainer in Idaho who did my academy for dog trainers. Those are the two places I really know of good trainers. If you're in like upstate New York, you have Upstate Canine. If you're in South Florida, you have that South Florida YouTube guy, Standard Canine, I think it is. They're all good. How do you teach people who resist following through with training and come back with the same problems? I'm blunt with them, but they're going to do what they're going to do. Like you can only that's as I get older, like you can only do so much. So I go, listen, I'll tell people, I'll be like, listen, you've got to do this. If you don't do this, nothing's going to change. But well, there's not much more I can do. I can be clear with them. I can be honest with them. That's about it. Would you get another dog now that you have Prince? Ooh, that's a good question. That's what I've been. I have a guy who helps me with ideas and stuff. We're talking about another dog. We might breed Prince, but I need a female. We got to figure that out. But yeah, I might breed Prince and then keep one of the puppies. I don't know. There's a lot to figure out with that. Tell us an interesting story about your time with killer whales. Oh yeah, I told one interesting story. There's others, a lot of them, but I would have to think about it. Please help. Whenever I walk my two, this is from D3DH3D, walk by two pit bulls, they get too excited around their dogs and start biting each other. How does this help? Tamp them down early. My doorway method is an in-the-house method. Okay. If you never go on your walk for a week, you don't go on you want to walk your dogs, but release them out the door. They go, oh, we're flying out the door. Bink. back in your house and do it all day if you have to. Then you go on that walk, you turn down the street, they're like, "Ugh," they start to leave you, pop, turn the other way. 2 dogs is hard. 2 dogs is like 2 kids. It's not twice as hard, it's 5 times as hard. Walking 2 dogs is 10 times as hard as walking 1 dog. You guys hear what I just said? It's so hard. Like for you guys, for me, for everybody. 2 dogs is a whole different animal. So, but you got to tamp them down early. My favorite breed of dog, Watchman, is Dobermans. My favorite animal is a lion. Prince's best and worst quality. Prince's best quality is his ability to read other dogs. Prince is like very forgiving. I think he doesn't want it. I mean, there'll be some males because Prince isn't neutered. My first Doberman was neutered at like 8 months, and he was unbelievable. Prince is still not neutered, so some big male comes out. Prince is like not having it, but he don't want to. He don't want to get into anything with anyone. He wants to be cool. Prince's worst quality. Prince's worst quality. I don't know. I wish he was a little bigger. That's not a quality. And I don't know if I even believe that because he'll live longer if he's smaller. I don't know about Prince's worst quality. That's good. That's an interesting question. What breed do you recommend for Northeast USA? I mean, the weather doesn't matter that much. Like like what breed for that area, Northeast. I assume you're talking about weather. Where we live gets hot. So like I wasn't gonna get a husky. Not to say even I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like they're inside and whatnot, but like you do have to be a little careful of that stuff, but it's fine. I mean, animals adapt really well. You'll see like a polar bear in a zoo in Southern California or something. Like they're fine. They have somewhere cold they can go. They can be in the heat. Like they'll be fine as long as they can go somewhere cold or the water's cold or whatever. They adapt really well. Rocky Road loved Bosco. Yeah, he was a good dog. He was a good dog. Sort of the Cane Corsos and Strong Prey Drive. Most Prey Drive is like I don't think Cane Corsos have that strong of a prey drive, not compared to Dobermans or Malinois or even German Shepherds. I have a lot of Cane Corso experience. They're awesome. Thank you for saying this is the best channel. Carcinoma. Okay. Male Doberman, female Malinois are 2 great combo. Yeah. Yeah. Male, female is the best combo, by the way. Female in your own house is the worst combo. I'm not saying it can't work. Of course it can. You have to be the boss, but it can be a weird deal. You guys got to be careful. People got to be careful. They don't know that. I wouldn't have known that 15 years ago. I wouldn't have known. Prince's favorite female breed. You guys got to watch the videos, man. That guy likes bigger bully breeds, females. He is all about it. He likes them. Yeah, Brinley reading questions would be good. She might pop in here, but what is killer whale training? I worked at SeaWorld. How do you advertise this channel? All dog owners need to watch. YouTube advertises this channel. They don't advertise it. They recommend it to people. YouTube is a crazy algorithm that they know what they're doing. Sorry, there's a funny question here. I can't really read it. Is it hard to train a dog to get into a car? No. No. You put everything good in the car. The owner goes in the car and you wait. I mean, there's other ways to do it. Breed him with this person thinks I should breed Prince with a bigger bully breed female. What? Just because that's his type? I don't know if That needs to be the only criteria. Yes, the one. Uh, okay. Oh, what time is it? Okay, we got 15 minutes. I got to start doing this. Are small companion dogs trainable? Companion dogs trainable. I've been working hard, but he learns very slow. I'm worried he will never be 100%. Maybe he's slow. There are dumb dogs. There are dumb people. There are not smart dogs. Things take longer. Um, Everyone thinks their dog is smart. I have the occasional client who's like, my dog's not very smart. And they're always right. But it's hard for them to say that. Um, but yeah, everything's trainable. Any opinion on Chesapeake Bay Retrievers? Yeah, I've trained a few. They're not that common, not out here. They're just a little more, they're independent. My grandmother had a Chesapeake Bay Retriever when I was really young, and I think it tried to bite me. If I remember right, it's like a dream, right? Because I was like so young, but I think it tried to bite me. Um, what is your experience with training large, such as Great Pyrenees? Tons. I've trained tons of Great Pyrenees. I've been told that they may never have a good recall. Anatolians are different than Great Pyrenees. Great Pyrenees are much more like trainable, pliable. They're different. Anatolians are different. They're a different dog. Caucasus Shepherds, they're a different dog. You want your hands, they're great. They just, you need, if I had a farm, I would get one of those dogs. I'd get an Akita probably actually, but I'd get one of those two dogs. But they're not in the house dogs. Like they need to work, they need to cruise, they're not a Doberman. Doberman just wants to be by you all the time. Weimaraner wants to be by you all the time. Vizsla wants to be by you all the time. Those dogs are on a different level. They're not messing around. Some of them. Okay. You gotta be careful. Okay. I see it doesn't work with delivery people. My dogs lose their mind. Well, delivery people are tough. I see it method. If you want me to get into it, I can. It's my own method, but it doesn't really work for someone coming up and leaving. Not nothing, but that I see it as more for people going this way, if that makes sense. I see it, and then you get their attention, run in the kitchen, give them a treat, then eventually fade it to where so it's two parts. It's redirection and it's I see it, which is you're saying, I see that thing. Don't worry about it, but now come, let's do something else. Then you fade out the I see it method, and you're sitting on the couch and they go to bark at the door or the window and you go, I see it. Come here. And you fade out the going to the kitchen and getting a treat. I love it. I think it's a great method. But yeah, delivery people's tough, guys, because they know it just goes there. People come up and leave. So they think they're chasing the person off. And it happens so quick. It's a really tough thing. What is your definition of a smart dog? The level of interactivity with owner. Smartness, I have to see the dog and like have the dog in my facility, and then I just see it do. If it just doesn't learn, not say it needs to do a sit. Some dogs are just like, I don't want to do that. That's no sign of intelligence. But like dogs will just run into things. I've seen dogs that don't know how to drink water. Okay, they bite the water. They're dumb. Like I mean, what is that? There's things that I go, this dog just isn't smart. You see in their eyes, right? They're just like looking and they're just like, what the hell is going on in the world? They're not smart. And that's fine. But you got to know that, right? You don't have a smart kid. You should know that. We're getting into crazy stuff. For an Akita, can you have them with neutral dogs? Neutral dogs. Pied Piper, I don't know what a neutral dog is. Neutral? Maybe neutered? Have you ever watched Gohan the Husky? No. How do you define socialization? Okay. Socialization. I like this question. I like big questions, right? Not how do I get my dog to walk on a leash, which is fine. You can ask it, but I have videos on that, older ones. How do I define socialization? Socialization would be dog interactions or people interactions. Desensitization would be the world. Those are two different things. Okay. really socialization would be dog on dog. Okay. Um, so I define it as the generalization of with other dogs or something like that. If you want an actual definition, how do you do it? That's a whole different story. But that's how I define it. Horses. My dog goes crazy when he walk in front of horses. Horses. My dog goes crazy when I walk in front of houses. Oh, when the horse walks in front of the house. I think dogs think horses are just big dogs. There's a lot of horses where I live. I think they see a horse and they're like, I think that's a big dog. That's what I think. I could be wrong. Um, it's the same. I mean, you redirect them. If it's over the top, you go grab them, bring them back, sit them down. Don't bark at that horse. But they're also tripped out, right? If they're 9 months old barking at a horse, good luck stopping them. They're like, what the hell is that thing? Giant dog? All right, we have like 10 minutes. I agree with the horse thing. Have the same experience. Oh, good. What's the funniest name you've ever heard a dog? I always know when the kids name the dogs. We had a giant. You've seen the guy in videos. Giant gnarly Rottweiler named Pickles. I think that's great. I think I love it when the kids name the dogs. Um, Neutral as in not dominant. Oh, or Pied Piper. Neutral as in not dominant nor submissive, as Akitas are known as very dominant breed. So I think your question was an Akita with a neutral dog. I don't know what your question was. I forgot. Here's the deal, guys. You run the show at the house. Okay. I don't know if this is the Akita question or not, but I do these phone calls and I do all this stuff and these training sessions and not everything falls into this category by any means. And I'm not saying your dog is trying to be dominant by any means. Most of your dogs are not. But you run the house. Just always remember that. Okay? Your dog loves you. They don't need to jump on you. You know that you love them, they love you. But there's no jumping on you. There's no fighting with its brother. You catch it early, hey, you go grab them, you run things. You run things. That's like, it's such a good way to be with your dog because I don't need to tell you guys or anybody in the videos to love your dogs more. I don't need to say that. I've never had a client who didn't love their dog. Thousands of dogs, 15 years. I see it that they love them too much. If someone didn't love their dog enough, I'd say, listen, you need to love your dog more. I would tell them that, but I just don't ever see it. Everyone loves their dog. You don't need to err on that side. You need to err on the other side, that you're over the behaviors and there's consequences to the behaviors. Watch this one back. I talked about counter surfing. Watch my videos. Now, when they're young, their brain is somewhere else. You can't go grab them for things. Their brain is somewhere else. If there's something's overriding them, fear is overriding them, aggression is overriding them, a prey drive is overriding them, those are different stories. But 90% of the dogs are just doing it because they get away with it. Aggression included. This notion that aggression is always fear is crazy. These force-free trainers, I'm going to make a video about a few of them. I just haven't yet at some point, but like the information you guys get is so bad that I've tried to counter that. It's horrible what you guys, if you open up, you're at the vet and you open up a Bark magazine and training, and it's like, it's the worst. It's the worst information. Many YouTube, that's why YouTube's so good, is you guys have access to, without the filter of the media or um, the where you type in for a trainer and the ones that are purely positive or force free will end up on top. Like you don't have that filter on YouTube. You can find anyone you want. But you guys it's such bad information out there. You run the show. Okay. Love your dog, exercise your dog, all of it. But they can't be doing a bunch of nonsense, you know? What made me realize I wanted to be a dog trainer? My wife and I were both SeaWorld trainers. We got married. Wait, I left SeaWorld. We got married. I just didn't, I love dogs and I didn't want to work at SeaWorld anymore. So I was like, natural thing. Best thing I've ever done, by the way. Can you talk about aggressive course in your board and train? Can I be a part of it, or do I just drop off? Yeah, board and train's kind of a drop off deal. It's a lot about the dog. You do not become a great trainer when your dog goes through the board and train. It's about the dog for the most part. Okay, you should do more Q and A's. Oh, thank you. I will try to. Very busy. All right, we have 5 minutes. Dog very protective of your yard, charges the fence if neighbors come out to throw out trash. How do I minimize intensity? Yeah, that's a tough one. It is a tough one because I don't know. I mean, you should walk your dog more. Butt touch method. You guys know the butt touch method, right? I don't have a collar, but like dog running out there and being mean to nice people. Hey, you go grab them. They're like, yeah, and you grab them and they're like, yeah, but I want to bark at that person. I don't really care what you want to bark at. Those are nice people. They live in that house. They've never been mean to you. So you grab. Why do I say all that? Because that's the thinking you have to have. Be anthropomorphic. There's this whole thing, and I learned it. Never be anthropomorphic. No, be anthropomorphic. Think in terms of you can put emotions and on your dog. You cannot bark at that person. Doesn't really matter what they're thinking. Okay, those people have never done anything, and you have never asked your dog to be mean to those people. So it's not okay. Grab them, butt touch, boom, like you're palming a basketball. Grab, and then like kind of do this and walk backwards. And they're going, yeah, but I want to bark at that person. Yeah, but I don't care. And I just keep walking and I keep doing this. I got the collar, and I got this, bing, bing, bing. And dog's like, boink, and they look, and then they eventually go, oh, what's up, lady? Oh, now you can look at me and not be worried about the person. Now you're somewhere. But it's enough yelling at them. It's enough grabbing them and just pulling them away as they're lunging that way. No, you got to flip their body a little bit. I should do a whole video on the butt touch method. How can I achieve neutrality with my dog? Gets distracted by things outside a lot. It's a broad question, my friend. Oh, you guys are just jamming with these questions. People will say you're a psychopath. People will say you're a psychopath. Me? Or the person doing that? It doesn't matter what people say. So don't worry about what people say. What age should one socialize a puppy with other dogs? Depends on the dog. 5 months? Like, they're puppies, just let them be puppies and be in the house and feel safe. It depends on the dog they're being with, you know? You should get them with good, awesome, same size dogs young, but don't go to a dog park. Okay. Super chat for these live shows. Okay. I got to learn what super chat is. Can the dog be too old to use the leash correction? Yes. Yes. There's a lot of things my leash correction method is for dogs who are like, I'm flying to whatever I want to fly to. No, you're not. That's not how this works. You got the leash is gold. This leash means something. It needs to mean something to your dog. Half the people watching this right now, this leash doesn't mean anything. They pull on it. They take you where they want to take you. Maybe they eventually calm down on the walk, but for the most part, this doesn't mean much. No. This means everything. You don't go where you want to go when you're on this thing, unless I release you. Then when you're off this, go nuts. But this thing matters. So if they're like on a leash, dog's far away, and they just launch, you're going to hit the end of it. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, I don't know. Am I going to like, oh my God, I lessen the blow? And no, you're trying to attack a nice dog. It's, thank you, Target Sunshine. Love your content. Okay. Thank you, Target Sunshine. That person's a big commenter on YouTube, and I appreciate it very much. Very nice. Very nice. I only watch you and Lee Asher. I have no idea who Lee Asher is. No offense to Lee Asher. Honestly, might be the greatest dog trainer in the world. 1 minute. Help kids who are afraid of dogs. Help kids who are afraid of dogs. Your general philosophy is spot on. You are a great teacher. Thank you. Where do you get Prince from breeder? He got returned. Thanks. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. I love you all. That's it. I'm gonna wait till it changes to 7. Maybe I'll get to one more or yeah, 7 p.m. Pacific. What good does it feel? Okay. How good does it feel to have a dog that you train and trains against everything is natural is? Okay. Thanks, guys. Hey, I love you guys. Keep watching the channel. Follow me on Instagram, Beckman's Dog Training, all that good stuff. Bye, everybody.